Hi, everybody. Welcome to my show, Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Reverend Graham Williamson. I'm an international, evidential, medium, and psychic. And today I'm overexcited. For the first time since I've had my show, I've actually got a guest. Her name's Bella Marie. And Bella is the host of Magical Morning with Bella Marie. Here she is.
Hi.
International certified psychic, certified romance and love coach. As a certified psychic under Hollywood Psychic Patti Negri, she has been able to assist many in the matters of the heart, finances, and creative projects. Welcome, Patty. Oh,
Hey.
Bella, I've got Patty on the brain today.
It's all right. It's easy to remember.
Right. We're going to talk about authentic energy with spirit. And I'll let Bella introduce herself as well.
I think you said it all. I am so happy to be here, and it's going to be very exciting. As soon as I started my show, Graham was the first one chiming in and saying hello and making his comments, and he was we've been I guess kindred spirits in a way. So, but definitely it's been it's exciting. It's exciting to be here, and I'm excited to have okay. Well, I'm excited to be here, and I got started because I just have had this gift my whole life. So it started when I was really, really young. At 8 years old, I just had a feeling, but it was like right at the edge of my mom's bed, and it was this big cloud, like, just this misty, and I would tiptoe, little girl, tiptoeing around trying to go to the restroom. And then I'm like on the toilet, just sitting there watching this mist. And I just remember, and it was so funny because it was kind of later, as a child, you didn't recognize it or think anything of it. It wasn't strange. You knew that it was your grandfather. I just knew, but I didn't understand what was happening. It just kind of made sense, I guess. And then, it just kind of made sense when I remember my mom saying, I've been having these crazy dreams about grandpa. Nonno is what we say. And she's like, I've been having crazy dreams about Nonno, and he's been giving me lottery ticket numbers.
I'll write them down afterwards.
And she wrote them down, and they were winners, and she never did anything with it. She was so upset. So yeah. And then from there on, it was just something that I just had. It was like things that would just happen to me, or I was always intrigued or interested in the mystic, the mystical. I always felt, I had a religious upbringing, and went to private school my whole life. But I just have always had this little intuition. And as I got older, 18, I started having medium work. Like I would all of a sudden, my friends, grandma would come through, and I would literally just start talking, and I'm like, where is this message? Like, where is this information coming? I have no idea who our abuelita is, And so it was fun, and it was exciting, but it was also very confusing, and even in like high school, grade school, my friends would make Ouija boards and things like that. And oh my gosh, the things that would happen, it was very, you just didn't know. You were tiptoeing around something that you were just with the unfamiliar, And then as I just kept getting older, my gift gets stronger and stronger, and it would just change in stages. You have that, right? You've had your experiences where you just change. It's like, okay, you learned this. Okay, now we're going to give you a new one. Okay, you got that down. Okay, we're going to give you a new one. And you just keep building up.
Always changing.
Always. And I think it's because we kind of have to adjust ourselves to the time of what our community is adjusting to. Like we are the guide. We guide them to what God or the universe is trying to tell them. And sometimes they just are not listening or not hearing, and we can kind of assist them in that time. It helps us gauge what we need to be aware of so that we can help them and be there for them. You know, that's the way I look at it.
That's the main thing of being a medium. And we're not personally egotistically driven. It's just that we know or we don't know.
Yeah.
Following that gut instinct. I always say, if people listen here with the heart and open the mouth, there's no problem. It's when you think before you speak. That's the problem.
Yeah. You doubt yourself and you're like, I knew it. I knew I should have done that.
It's beautiful how, as I can call us, light workers, for want of a better phrase.
Yeah.
That has just been an example of being authentic. Because you're not driven by ego. And unfortunately, a lot of people think psychics are mediums, and I've mentioned this a few times on the show. Psychics are mediums. They're not. And psychic, everybody is. But not everybody is a medium.
Yeah, true.
And this is, I've been teaching this all my life. I started at 3.5 with fairies at the bottom of my garden, Bella. So I know exactly what you mean. And when we used to go to watch a movie, the cartoons on a Saturday or a Sunday in our local town, and one day we were 3 older sisters and a younger brother. We're all sitting on watching the cartoons, and for me, everything disappeared. My grandfather's face appeared on screen.
Oh.
He passed away a few years previous. And all I saw him saying, "Get out, get out." So I stood up. I said, "Hey, Granddad's on the screen." He said, "Get out." No question. We all got up there. The place burnt down.
Oh my gosh.
My grandmother was a medium. My mum was a rescue medium. And whenever we get the message from spirit so defined, you don't go back until you get them telling you it's all clear.
Yes.
If ever.
I had dreams nonstop of my grandfather. Always. I'm named after my grandfather. My name is Gabriella. My nickname is Bella. And I was named after my grandfather, Gabriele. And he would come to my dreams all the time. And I'd be like, oh, you know, Nonno came into my dreams and he did this and this and told me this. And my mom would listen and she'd be like, okay. And then she would take heed, you know, and just kind of. And so it was just always, you know, we listened to the dreams, we would listen to all of that. But then my gift went one step more than what my family could handle at the time. And then they're like, whoa, you are doing too much. We're not really sure what's happening here.
I found out, as I said earlier, that I've got 3 older sisters, 1 younger brother. That's who I lived with. And about 5 years ago, I found I've got 2 half sisters and a half brother over here.
Wow.
And getting all this stuff, and I mean, I'm called the black sheep of the family. And I take it with pride. Because I love the black means to me knowledge, absorption of knowledge.
Always.
And when I speak, I try to speak clearly and concisely. And I know being from England, I've had to slow my speech down. And even though after 22 years plus, I'm still getting it wrong. But that's who I am.
I jokingly said, I was like, probably by the end of this show, I'm going to be speaking UK English.
This is a phrase I say to a lot of my friends. I'll teach you to talk proper like I does. But it's a good play on word, because as a medium, and you do what you do, it's all about this energy within us. Also the energy that flows through us.
Yes.
And as you say about the dreams, I let's say about when spirit comes, they activate your memories. And it's that they're trying to say, can you remember when we did this? And can you remember what we did? It's not the fact that they've died. It's the fact that they're saying, I'm still with you because I've got messages for you. But when you acknowledge it, you open the door. That energy is flowing through you better. And we say it's dreams, but sometimes I think, hang on, it's too real.
No, there's times where they come and visit you. There is times because I had this one time, my dad has Parkinson's, and we found a dead bird in our pool.
Mhm.
Right after that, my dad literally his nervous system shut down and he was just shaking and he couldn't open his eyes. He couldn't do anything. And he had some type of infection again that keeps coming because it like paralyzes the bladder in his
Yep.
sense. So we just been like having this issue, and it was just the bird, him having the episode, and then that night I finally put everything together, of course, because it's puzzle pieces. And then my cousin came into my dream and then shared what he was saying to me about, he kind of like was trying to be, hey, do you want to? So he loves his cars, right? And he would go and he would just make his car West Coast style. I mean, it was just, he always won the loudest speakers, and, he was fun. He was fun. And when I was little, I would go and sit in the driveway and he's fixing cars and he's doing all this stuff. So in our dream or vision or visit, I would say it was more a visit. It was 4:00 for me, 4:00 in the morning. I get my messages. Yeah. And so he shows me, he's like, what do you think of my car? And I was like, oh, it's nice. And it was beautiful. It was like this like champagne pearlized with like a little bit of like this rose color pink. And it was just gorgeous car. And he's like, okay, I need you to pick out the tint. And it was just like, I'm like, what is going on right now? And so he's like showing me the tints. And he's like showing me the tints. He's like, what do you want? Which one do you think? And I'm like, that one. So I literally remembered every part of this dream. And then I think I feel that when I got up and I kind of put everything together, I was like, you know what? He was just trying to be there, because the dead bird represents a family member trying to tell me that something severely is wrong and that someone is sick.
Yeah.
My dad. Then he came back into my dream because we weren't really listening, but he was like almost like consoling me and like being like, hey, I'm here. Because when he passed, because he was 35, by 37, almost 38, he had passed with colon rectal cancer. And so he's like we're two peas in a pod. And so we're 10 years apart, but he was like my buddy. And so
it is.
yeah, it's just, and so I had this one, Padre Pio. I don't know if you know the Saint Padre Pio. Okay, so Padre Pio in Sicily, there's this thing that he's very, very popular in, my family is from Sicily. So he went to...
Hang on a minute. I'm just getting the deja vu here.
Yeah?
I went to Sicily. 1972.
Okay.
Palermo. And we had to travel 30 miles in to the earthquake site of 62.
Oh. Where was that?
Montevardi.
Oh.
Something like
north?
That. No, it was
down
central.
south.
Down south. And it was central, 30 miles from Palermo.
Okay. Okay, so we're Bagheria. So our family is from Bagheria. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And my captain of my ship in 62 sent his opinion rescue to the earthquake site.
Oh, okay.
Said, send it here. And they said, no, it's over there. So 10 years later, we went to Sicily. And the dignitaries were there with Rolls Royce, Daimlers, all the posh cars. And the captain said, no, we've got a truck. Piled in with food and stuff. Went 30 miles in again. Everything was Comandante Pau. Comandante Pau. This street name, hotel, everything was Comandante Pau. Because he was Commander Pau.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I was ashamed for this, what I saw. We were talking about Maui and all the trouble there.
Yeah.
It looked like the earthquake had only happened yesterday. There was no help being done.
It's
all
Sicily.
The were there in the posh suits and clothes and cars, and the people were. And in the end, we ended up donating. We had a major fridge and freezer breakdown on the vessel, and we had to throw it all away. And,
That's awesome.
but you say in Sicily, and it just kept coming back about, because we were talking just before we came on the air about all the stuff that's happened in Hawaii and all the rumors that are going up. But the basic fact is 106 people have passed.
Yeah.
Thousands are displaced and have survived. And because of our nature and what we believe in about authentic giving of ourselves to help others, be the light for others, this all integrates from what you're saying just by that key word, system.
Yeah, it does. That's good.
But this is even though we'd never, I never planned what I'm going to talk about other than a heading.
Yeah, it's very organic. The way you and I work is very.
But authentic is by literally listening to yourself and saying, yes, Spirit, I listen and I open my mouth. I don't think about it. I just think, well, hang on a minute. I've got to say this. And
so you know what? I think what you're saying is that, because I remember saying, I don't know why, but I feel so drawn to Hawaii and I cry for it all the time and I miss it and I want to live there. Maybe it's more for a message for me to like understand, like I live, like my family, my ancestors lived on an island. I'm more than likely very drawn to being on an island.
I think it's also about understanding community, understanding people and how people are.
Well, they suffer. In Sicily, they suffer.
But also in adversity, you can find good and you can find bad. But our job is, and my belief is, to stand up and say, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And this is yours. Here, have this. It's not about money.
No.
It's about people.
Well, the reason why we do what we do is to give back. I mean, we collect the money to give back to the community that we serve. Yeah. So people don't sometimes understand that, and they think everything is free, like an artist, you know? And it's like, oh, can you do a psychic reading? Oh, can you do a psychic reading? I'm like, that's energy work. It's very exhausting, you know, and it takes a lot away from you if you're just doing it.
But you see, that's the difference there, Bella. Energy work, psychic, can be draining.
Oh, absolutely. And
when you do medium work, it shouldn't be.
No, it doesn't. It's not the same. It's a little bit more of, and I'm not. I don't want listeners, thinking that I'm belittling Reverend Graham. I am respectful of medium work. I do medium work, and I honor and respect it. And he's absolutely right, because what happens is I have been taught, and I feel that it's a little bit more of a lower frequency. In order for you to get to that spirit, to that veil, that's why Archangel Michael can get to people very quickly, is because he's a little bit lower in frequency and he can reach you faster. Same concept of being a medium. You're a little bit lower, and it isn't so hard to get all the way up on top. I'm more of a higher frequency. And so it does take more work, and it takes more energy and more of my time and money, and not money, but like just everything. I have to sacrifice a lot to be able to get to a point.
I totally endorse what you're saying. And the terminology is slightly different, but the concept is the same.
Yes.
It's opening up to allow spirit to work through you.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whatever level you're at.
It's still lots of work.
Whatever way around you want to term it, because there's nobody that can say factually A, B, C. Everybody does it different. And that's the beauty of being true to self or authentic.
So I have a question for you. A lot of people say ego.
Yeah.
I had this one lady tell me, she's also gifted and she does her thing. Not necessarily things that I would agree with, but she does her thing. Now she talked to me and she's like, I love my ego. I stroke it. I love it. I think it's awesome. And I was like, you love your ego? And I'm like, okay. And, this is right in the beginning. I was like trying to kind of get an idea of like what things were, how people were working. And I was learning, and I was growing and developing. And I always felt like that was the weirdest thing I could have heard, but to each his own. And so, shadow work. I have a friend who he's amazing, sweetest guy you could ever know. But he does shadow work, but he does it to tap into the ego to then reverse what you're trying to do.
Okay. The term ego can be used in different perspectives.
Yes. So I'm bringing up two different ones because I know we talked about ego a little, and I think a lot of people need to understand this more.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts of loving your ego and having shadow self?
Loving the ego privately, but to use one's inner knowledge of what you've learned and what effect it has emotionally to you, ego-wise, you can learn to live with it at an amicable agreement with why you're here. Mm-hmm. People say to me I'm crazy and all the rest of it, and I'm always joking around. My wife calls me the comedic medium, which is a good laugh, but I like to bring laughter into my work with spirit.
You have to.
Because I want to raise your energy. Mm-hmm. I want to lift it up. I want you to feel good in yourself. So it's not about ego there. It's about boosting your inner self.
Yep.
You want to label it ego, that's your prerogative, but you take ownership of it. What I do when I'm working like I do now is no pre-thought. There's no, I've got to go A, B, C, D, E in this interview, in this show. Mm-hmm. None of that. Because I follow what my guts tell me to emphasize and share. This is why I call it Dare to Dream. Because my mum's embroidery there of Dreamcatcher, that was the last gift she gave me. She said, Graham, you don't only dare to dream, you live your dream.
Yes.
And when you're talking about ego, and only think of what you're going to say, because you've weighed up the pros and cons, that's not mediumship. I'm sorry, in my opinion, that's not mediumship.
No.
If you want to label it mediumship, that's your prerogative. But in my book, that's not. My mum was a rescue medium to do with the dark side. It's also people who die traumatically do not realize they passed over, and they live in a secular consciousness. Their spirit is encapsulated, and their lights are dim, i.e. going towards the dark.
Oh, God bless your mom.
And
that's really
quit.
That's hard work. That's really hard.
I've been training to do this ever since, and I've been doing more and more dark work, the shadow work we call it.
Yeah.
So people term darkness as evil, and I have to stipulate: when you look up at the sky at night, what do you see first, black or white? And they say,
black.
"Oh, see the stars first." You see the light, but you can't see the light without the dark.
Exactly.
The light is being held in place by the dark.
Yeah.
Which is knowledge. Absorption of knowledge. We wear dark clothes in the sunshine. We sweat like anything in 2 minutes. Wear white, it can take 10 minutes. I live in Florida, okay? That's what I'm saying.
I know, it's like 110 out, the humidity, and I'm like this.
Cool down a bit. But you see, when I work with rescuing these souls of people who don't know the past, I have to know who I am, which integrates, again, the ego. But it's not used as a conscious pre-thought of what I'm going to say to you.
Yeah.
It's knowing who I am inside. My ego is unconscious within me. But I've learned when I work with spirit, my ego is a side, it's a foundation in order so I can help you and help other people as well as spirit.
And is that considered more like a boundary for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be, because I listen with my heart and my guts. These two working all the time, 24/7. And I just meet people, and it's like I've known them for years because I just talk with them.
Yeah.
And I say the word with them.
Yeah.
Even if I'm having a discussion, a debate, it's 50-50. But when I think about, God, that was bloody hard work, Graham, blah, 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 and you go into depth, that's your ego coming in.
Yeah.
But I don't ever have that problem because I've learned to say, if I follow my heart and I'm helping people, what can be wrong in that?
Yeah, as long as you're safe and as long as you're protecting yourself and you've created a boundary. And
Every morning.
you know, I think it's just, you got to be honest with yourself and be like, hey, is today the right day to do something like this? Or is it the next day? You know, like sometimes your cup isn't fully filled yet with, you know, spirit juice. You know, it's like, you need to make sure that it has the good juice in there before you like move on.
I've said this, I wake up every morning with the 4 special days of the year. I wake up with Easter every morning. I wake up with Christmas every morning. So what tell I? Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year. And it's nothing religious.
No.
It's just I arose.
Well, in reality,
I know. But you see, this is the concept of getting myself ready for whatever Spirit's going to give me.
Yeah.
I arose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful.
Mm-hmm. Being
alive is my Christmas present. And New Year's, what more can I give? Every morning is my set. I just say it every morning. And at night I say thank you. Because to be authentic, I have to be honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people, I don't think many people really understand how difficult it is to always be honest with yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not perfect. I make mistakes like every human. But
I make a lot of mistakes.
The Spirit having a human experience. And if you can't enjoy yourself, the best to enable other people as well as yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been given all these experiences and you've survived, you know, a lot of different things. And I've gone through my things so that we can kind of like understand and honor and respect those who come to us. You know, we live out these things so that we can kind of, okay, well, I sympathize with you. I can console you. I can comfort you. I can sympathize with you and understand like where you're coming from, you know?
People say, well, you're an old guy now, you know, you're retired, you know, you're having it easy and all this. I'm working harder now than I ever did when I was working. I don't know how I went to work and do what I do with Spirit. Now I'm not working as per such wages because they say, oh, you don't drink, you've got a healthy life. And all this. I said, well, I'm a recovered alcoholic, been married 3 times, this is my 3rd time. I've lived in one house for the first time in my life for 22 years. Every other house was like 8 months, 18 months. I've moved over.
You're obviously doing something right this time. You know, it's the journey.
I'm getting away with it. I'm getting away with it because I've helped so many people. Being ex-Royal Navy from 71 to 86, and I found out my gifts were becoming more pronounced, and the Navy started to recognise it, and because I did weird things in their books, so I said, no, I've got to get out. I've got to notice it. I wanted to do 22, but I did 14 and a half. I don't regret 1 minute of it because it helped me be what I am today. But it's again being authentic to myself. They say, oh, if you stay, you can get this money, you can get that money, you can do this and do that. I said, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about what I feel.
Yeah.
You do the coaching for people about living and loving, which is phenomenal.
Thank you.
It really is, because you've got to be honest with yourself and say, well, I've experienced this and this is what I've gone through and this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm helping people go through, etc., etc. But again, I love the word authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And this show is about daring to dream, but living it. Yeah.
That's the most important part, is that we tend to dream about all these things and then we don't live it.
Exactly.
You know, for me, I don't know how many times I've rebranded, redone something because our gifts, I mean, for me, my gift constantly changes. And then I'm like, everything's not working the way it should. And then I kind of, my OCD comes in and it's like, it's not perfect, you know? But when I have to kind of just let it, I give it to God. That's really what it is that I give it to God. I give it to the universe. I'm like, I'm obviously going to fight you on this, and I'm tired of fighting. Like, I'm going to just let it be. And so that's what people need to kind of do is they, you know, if your path is meant and it's lit and it's shining bright, then you really have to just say, okay, I give in. I throw in the towel. Let's just go ahead and see where this path leads me. You know,
there's only one thing that's guaranteed in life, apart from breathing and living, is change. And when people say, oh, what can you do as a medium? I said, I don't know yet. Let's see what spirits say. Because I never know what I'm doing.
You're like, I don't know what's going to happen.
There's all the different abilities we have.
Yeah.
I just say, oh, I didn't know I could do that way. Oh, no, let's try this. Oh, okay, fine. And I just go with the flow. And that's the beauty of knowing who I am and know, like, how you and I connected. And it's like we've got different viewpoints on things, which is as it should be. We're individuals, for goodness sake. We're not all following everybody. We've got to do A, B, C.
Yeah.
And this is what the spirit of each person is connected by and with. And when you listen with your heart of what you feel, what you say, what you do, and have it in balance without ego, your life just flows. And it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be good.
No.
But every experience, you came here to learn about your human side of life.
Yeah. There's those journeys. There's those journeys that you get into play. And and there's always these steps and journeys, and you just wait to unfold and illuminate, you know, and you just wait again. Okay, the next step is here. The door opened, you know, that whole concept of like one door closes, one door opens. It's just, it is something that we I think us as guiders and people who guide others to be the best version of themselves, I think the best client that we could ever have is one that just accepts lovingly and understanding that no matter what comes out of our mouth, it's not coming from us, it's coming from spirit. Exactly. And you have to honor and respect what the person is delivering the message. It's not the person, it's him. It's the universe. It's her, him, whatever you want to believe in.
I did an event a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, I just got 333.
Wonderful.
I'm at 333. We were just talking about that. I just looked at my phone. See.
I got 1555.
Yes.
I always take a screenshot numbers.
I literally am seeing 333 everywhere. See? Well, oh, now it's 334. Forget it.
I've got all those displays on my cooker and I'll come around. Oh, go on, get a picture. But you see, these numbers are, to me, they make me feel I'm noticing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it truly means at first.
Well, what were we just talking about?
Exactly.
See?
I just react to it. And that's what we should do.
All right. So 333, we were
exactly the same.
We were just discussing this today on my show. And 333 this is my I kind of use this one and I use another one. I have an app, but this one is Messages from Spirit by Colette Barn Reed. And it says it is about inspiration, self-expression, creative talents, the gift of words, the gift of vision, artistic gifts, prophecy, and joy. The letters corresponding to 3 is C, L, and U. So, you know, I just think, I don't know. I think when we're having these conversations, what did you get? Oh, 444. Oh my gosh.
I'm taking pictures all the time of numbers.
You get 4 a lot. You
I get 4s, 5s, and 1s.
Resonates with a strong foundation, practicality, determination, discipline, organization, being a good worker, and loving family. It's corresponding to D, M, and V. So,
but you see, this is what being true to self, being authentic to self. It's moments in our lives. Sometimes you call them deja vu, but people don't understand what that truly means. In my opinion, it's when your spirit looking down before you come into this body, you say, I want to experience this. Then you're born, you come up, and then it comes around. Say, oh yeah, deja vu. Because
I used to get that all the time when I was younger.
I still do. And it's so beautiful because it encapsulates who I am. And I say, well, I must be doing something right to actually progress to this point where I can say, that's what I wanted to experience.
Yeah.
When's the next one?
Yeah.
When's the next one? And Bella, it's beautiful the way you have the terminology the way you do.
Oh, thanks.
I love the differences. And I was brought up with my grandparents living in the same house with a war baby. We called him Uncle George, and my mum and 5 kids, plus the dogs and the budgies and the canaries. But we were taught the basics, the ground rules. This is what you should do. But what do you feel?
Yeah.
And people have forgotten to trust what they feel. They've been told, you've got to do this. No, the words are, this is how we were taught. How do you feel about it? And I'm the only one doing this. All my family say, oh, Graham, you're crazy and all this. So why are you doing what Mum did? And I say, I love it. I see things, I feel things, and I'm able to pass it on to people to say, hey, did your aunt have such and such a speech impediment of teeth or whatever it is I pick up? My body takes on the evidence, speech pattern, hearing problems, toothache, muscle, whatever it is. I know my body, I know who I am, and when somebody's energy touches mine and I feel these things, I know it's automatically from them. Yeah. Because their connection with their loved ones who've passed.
Well, because you know how you feel, and then all of a sudden you change and you're like, okay, something's changing. This is a spirit message. And you know that it's not harmful. I mean, it's not dark. It's not, you're not getting things that where you're feeling like you're wanting to hurt someone or, you know, those negative thoughts that people like have. So it's, you know that it's safe and it's safe to then work with that spirit.
You've got to always be careful because no matter what you say and do as a medium, you are totally responsible. Yeah. And your job, from what my grandmother taught us and the church taught me, your job is to uplift people. Yes. And if you see something tragic about to happen, you don't scare the bejesus out of them. No. You've got to say it in a way to say, hey, you know, you're thinking about you going in your car. And, when did you last have it checked? Yeah. You know, when did you last have your gears? Or those guys don't look brilliant. Little things like that, just leave them. Oh, that's a possibility. You know, because you've got to give people choices. Yes. They have to have the right to choose. You can't tell them, oh, this is exactly, and it's not 100% like valid because you are not in charge of what's going to happen to them. They are in charge of what's going to happen to them. You are just the vessel to share the information of what they want to choose to do with that information. Yeah. And so interpret it correctly. Yeah. Yeah, I always repeat it like 3 or 4 or 5 times. Are you understanding what's happening here? Do you know what this is? Do you have any questions? Do you want me to explain a little bit more so you have a better understanding? You know, those are the kind of things that you kind of, but when I usually use my cards because I found that, you know, people, you know, when you give information or you give examples or you give,
then it comes up as, oh, you're just giving advice. It was too accurate. It's too accurate and you're just giving advice, and it's like, what? So, I'm just like, I'll use my cards. I'm like, all right, you want to think this is advice? Here, let me pull these cards, and boom, boom, boom. All the information comes up exactly the way I said it.
Well, Bella, you see, I was taught anything you can care to name to do with mediumship, from housing, tea leaves, palmistry, twitching, everything.
Oh, I have a question after you're done.
And I used to use crystal ball. I used tea leaves, as I say. But then one day I had to leave my bag behind with my stuff in it. And somebody says, oh, what do you do? We can't see what you do. I said, well, I can't see what I do either. It flows from spirit. Can you see spirit? No, I can't see them at the moment. So let's just go with it. And then I found I didn't need
I'm not dead. I haven't seen him yet. So.
And people go, oh, how did you do that? I said, well, I've got the ability I know how to read palms. I know how to do tea leaves. I know how to do crystal ball. I know how to dance. And the, what's that called? Ouija board.
Oh,
The planchettes and all the rest of it. Done all that. But pendulum stuff, oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Is it something? No problem. Because I don't limit myself.
Yeah.
And I know we don't have all that much longer to go.
I know. I do have a question. Okay, so my question is I started getting, and it's stopped, but there was a time where I was needing to move in a different path. And so I started getting, so I would pour my coffee. I would have my coffee. It was black. And then I would put the creamer in and it would show images. And I'm looking at this thing and it's swirling and I'm seeing all these images popping up. And I'm like, okay, I'm writing stuff down and I'm like trying to figure out, I'm like, am I really seeing something?
Yes. This is why I have this.
What is that?
A recorder.
Ah.
And I was told I should have worked for Disney for cartoons.
Ah.
I see images and everything.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's going to be another topic. But you see, when you see stuff like that, it's because you're not hampered by what you've been told you've got to do. You're free reign. You've opened up yourself. And this is why I do the show. But before we go any further, anybody needs to get hold of Bella.
Thank you.
There's her email, seekingloveandlife@gmail.com, or to website.
They could just go to they could just go to the website.
Bella Maria, sorry.
That's okay.
Hey, I'm English.
Maria is the Italian way. Yeah.
Send her a message. And if you want to come back, we're back on show again in 2 weeks on the 30th. I don't know if I'm going to have. I don't know if Bella will want to come back again.
I'm here. We could talk about more of the the shadow work too, and things like that. I think that's kind of a cool
on your show.
Yeah, we could do that. I'll ask you all the questions on my show.
Right. But, we're going to have to close off soon, but
yeah.
I want to thank everybody for watching, and especially Bella. This is goingboldmedia.com, Going Bold Wednesday. This show is Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Reverend Graham Williamson, international intuitive medium and psychic. Oh, that's Dolores.
She's like, and me too. Hello. I'm an animal communicator. She was trying to get in.
If you want to email me, go to amedium77@gmail.com. That's all one word, amedium77. Or ring Florida, USA, 352-409-1060. Leave a voice message, because if you don't, I won't answer the phone.
He won't answer the phone. See, I told you I'd start talking like that.
Oh, I mean, it is so crazy. I'll learn to talk proper like this. I want to thank Anne CC for allowing me to do this show today. It's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed having you on.
It was fun.
And you put up with me. That's the main thing.
I know. I left laughing still.
But that's the beauty of it. Well, as I say, my show's Dare to Dream. I'm your host, Graham Williamson, international intuitive, evidential medium and psychic. And Bella, come on, put Bella's up, all her info. It may come up in a minute.
It's all right.
There we go.
There we go. AskBellaMaria.com.
gmail.com. seekingloveandlife@gmail.com. Send her an email or go to our website, www.askbellamaria.com. I got it right that time.
You did. Got it.
We're here
Thank
to
you.
answer questions and help you in whatever you need. We will give our best.
Yep.
And I want
absolutely.
to see you in a couple of weeks on the 30th at 6 o'clock. Join me on Dare to Dream and have a wonderful evening and try and behave yourselves.
Take care. Have a good day.